great presentation. Next speaker is going to be myself, Jason Burke, CEO of High Performance Success Summit. Let me put me right here. And what I'm going to be talking about today, everyone, is I'm going to be talking about how to become a star in event planning, especially how to create your own virtual events so you can monetize your own expertise, your own audience, and really share your knowledge with people, because everyone has gifts to share your own knowledge. So the first, just to give you a little background about me, I've done over 200 live events, and I've done live events, virtual events. I've worked with some, including Matt Millionaire Paul Fink, which you'll see speak next. Worked with Power Team International's Bill Walsh, Realty Forum Magazine Expo, Dave Lindell, just to name a few of the top people that I worked with my own network to put on live and virtual events. And so the first thing is, when you're creating your own event, virtual event, the first thing you want to think about is, who are your audience and what do they want? Because if you know what your audience wants and you know what type of experience you want, it helps you create the virtual experience you want to give them. Because is it best? Because there's different types of events. You can do a webinar, you can do a workshop, you can do a seminar, you can do a multi-speaker event like this, you can do a network event. So you first want to assess what your audience wants and what the experience you're going to provide, and look at what your competitors are currently offering them. What are they doing that's good? What are they doing that's not so good, that you can fill a need, and determine the need that you can fill and the problem you can solve for them by hosting events, whether it be providing real estate education, business education, whether it be providing a solution or product, whatever need you can solve in the problem. Once you determine that audience that you want to really zero in on, the next thing you want to look at is, one, I'm going to say this, just pick a date for the virtual event. And this is the same thing with the live event, because I've seen so many people in the past, what they've done is they talk about doing this great event. And then you see them 2 or 3 years, they're still talking about doing this great event. The problem is they don't actually pick a date and do it. Because remember, it's a process. Your event is not going to be perfect the first time you do it. You're going to improve your processes as you go along, as you grow your team, as you hone in on your ideal audience and customers. This is all going to take time. I know this. I've been on the side of great events. I've been on the side of events haven't gone so great. So I know the good, bad, and the ugly. So I can tell you that from my own experiences. But what I can say in this is, understand it's a process as you're going along, as you're developing that message. Then what you want to think about is the technology platform you're going to host on. We're hosting our event on Zoom, but there's other platforms as well. You have Webinar Jammer. You can actually host events on Wix as well. You can actually Google Hangouts. You can have webinar, GoToMeeting, StreamYard. There's different platforms out there, and that's only just a few that I mentioned. But you want to pick a platform that you know how to use, and that's going to be easy for your audience to use, to log into the events. No one likes something that's really complicated and hard. So you want to pick something that's easy to use, make it easier for your audience, and also your team can execute the type of experience you want to do. Because that is so important when you do that. You want to create that experience. You want to make sure that they can log in, make sure they can have features like chat and Q&A and questions, and make it as easy for them as possible, and your speakers as well, because you want to, with them, they want to be able to share their screen, and you want to make sure that everything is good on that. So I suggest doing a couple of test runs, especially if it's your first event, with your speakers, going through the technology, making sure everyone's on the same page. Because as we know, technology can fail, and I've had this happen multiple times. Last year, we did a high performance success summit. We had Wayne Wakefield was supposed to speak, but his system crashed. These kind of things happen. So you have to be prepared, and you have to also know how to expect the unexpected and how to react to that. It's all about your mindset when you do that. But once you have the technology done, you have the date picked, you have that, then you want to think of how you're going to market the event. What channels are you going to market? And there's a couple of different ways you can market the event. I mean, you have social media, you have Facebook, you have your personal page, you have your Facebook groups that you can create for your community. You have a Facebook page you can create for your community as well. So, that's just on Facebook. You have LinkedIn. LinkedIn, you also can do posts. LinkedIn allows you to create events. It's called LinkedIn Events, where you create your events and you can invite your contacts to attend the event. The thing that you got to be realize with LinkedIn Events is, because it's fairly new, it's been out for a couple of years. Some people think of it as a connection request, so you got to know that and follow up with them. because some people don't realize that because it's the way it's set up. It's a little bit newer. To say something like Eventbrite, and when you first started out, maybe you want to do a simple Eventbrite page for event, and then build your own website. And you can do both. You can have your website and have an Eventbrite page. Eventbrite allows you to promote your event, allow you to put a description. You want to have good tagline. You want to have some good photos and videos. You can add videos into the description. It'll give you a link, and then there'll be arrows to go up. So as you're going up, you can place the videos and the text underneath where you want it. So you can have a main video for your event. You can have videos from your speakers as well, telling your audience what they're going to do, which is powerful because people respond to videos even more so than photos. It also gives you the ability to capture people's information, including email, phone number. You have to go to the section that says order forms, click on that, and you have to click on buyers only, because you click on each attendee, it'll go to the default settings in Eventbrite, which is basically just their name and email. But if you click on buyers only, you'll be able to set the settings where it's cell phone, and you'll click on the button that says advanced settings, and then you'll click on the two things that say cell phone, so you can capture people's cell phone information. And so, because some people register through your website, because some people may be more comfortable registering through an Eventbrite page. I've dealt with this, so I just have both. You have Eventbrite is another way. Meetup. You can create a meetup community based on what a community you want, whether it be real estate, whether it be events. You can post your events on the meetup community. You can do announcements out to the community. You can engage on a message board. You can collect payments through it. The payment part goes to repay, and it usually takes 2 to 5 days to get that. You'll have an address where you can message out your members. You can send one-on-one messages. You can do posts. You can post your events and you interact. And then also Meetup is going to help you push out your Meetup once it's created within 3 days. Or if you take an over group, it'll be pushing it out. So that's how I started my event career back in 2010. I took over Going Spent Homes Las Vegas Real Estate Insiders Club Meetup group. And really, it's a great way to help you build your community, because people go in, they sign up, they join, that builds your list. And then you want to have like an opt-in on a free gift and things along that nature as well. So Meetup is another great way. Now, Instagram is another great way too. Keep in mind, Instagram videos and clear photos are king in Instagram. So you want to have photos that pop and stand out. You want to have videos that are good. And then once you get to 10,000 followers, you have the swipe up option, and that will allow you to put your website and link into Instagram. So Instagram is another great way. The key with that is getting followers and getting that. So once you get to that level, you can do the swipe up option in Instagram. Twitter is more short messages. So you do more short messaging. You got to keep 140 characters. So it's not a place to do a long post. It's a place to do a quick post about your event or a quick link to a video and things along that nature. YouTube is a great place. We have a YouTube channel for the High Performance Session. We post events and also the preview videos for our speakers. Great way to grow our audience. People can see the YouTube channel. They can watch the replays of the event. It'll help you attract new people to the event. Well, these are just a few of the ways that you can really market your event on social media using different tools and resources and stuff. And then the next thing you want to think about is speaker selection. You want to think about how many speakers, what type of speakers you want, what type of content you want on that. So if you have like a real estate event, you may want to have people that speak a lot on real estate. Like we have Edna Keefe, we have Brad Ways to speak on capital, we have Paul Fintex to speak on how to make 5, 6, and 7 figures in real estate. You have more of a business audience. You also want to have people talk about sales, funnels, marketing, different things along that nature. So depending on the type of event, and then you want to think how many speakers you need, because the time frames depend. You may have 3 or 5 per day, 4 to 6. So maybe it's just you speaking. If you're doing your own workshop and you're the only speaker, then you're just the only speaker. But if you're booking outside speakers, you want to look at what their message is, how that's going to align with the audience, what value can they provide to your audience, because that's a key thing when you're booking outside speakers as well, to do that. So you want to consider that because you want to consider the content you're going to provide. In some cases, you might just have you and 1 or 2 outside speakers. Like cases like this is a multi-speaker summit, so we have different experts and stuff. But there's also cases where you may just do a workshop with maybe you and 1 or 2 other speakers, because based on the content you're providing, that's all you really need. So you want to make that decision. Then you want to give yourself enough time to market, at least 4 weeks, maybe as much as 6 or 8 weeks on the virtual side, just to market the event and really go on and get your marketing going for the event. So basically, you want to, just to recap some of the things I went over, really, you want to go over, first find out determine your target audience, what they want, and everything. Once you're clear on what the target audience is, what they want, and what content they want, then you want to pick a date for the event. You want to pick the technology for the event. Then you want to identify the best ways to market by social media or other means. You want to do naturally competitive research, look at what your competitors are doing, look at what channels they're looking at for marketing, what are they doing well, what are they not doing well, how can you do it better, what makes you different than everybody else, what sets you apart than everybody. And that's what you really want to do with that, because once you do that, that sets you apart. Then you want to look at your technology. You want to decide what technology platform works best for you and your team, what's going to be easy for your customers to use to log into virtual events. You want to select your speakers for your virtual events as well. And like I said, depending on the type of virtual event, you might have multiple speakers, you may have 1 or 2 speakers, so you may be the only speaker. Depending if it's a webinar that you're just doing yourself, or you're doing a webinar or multi-speak event where you have multiple people. So all that is that basically how you can come out and create your own virtual events, because your idea is you want to build your list. You want to build your own list. And also another thing is you can follow other people's audiences too. By speaking on other people's virtual events and summits, you can build your platform and involve those audiences. And that's another way to expand. So that's what people do here at the High System, is they follow your audience so they can expand. You want to follow other people's audiences. Where if you're a speaker and you go to speak, you want to say how you can add value to the organizer, how you can help that organizer, how the content adds value, how they can make money on that as well. So those are just a few of the things that you can do to create your own virtual events that will not only help you create your own virtual events and executing. Now, when it comes to executing the event, typically you ideally want your speakers to be there 5 or 10 minutes beforehand to go onto the virtual platform so you can keep everything moving and on time. And typically when you're doing that, you know, based on creating your agenda, what time blocks you have. So if your speaker has 30 minutes, you want to virtually, you can put in the chat 5, 10, wrap up if need be. And because it's a virtual event, you'll privately message them. Don't put it out to everyone, just privately message the speaker how much time they have left. Because some people you're going to have to wrap them up, and some people are just very good and on time, and you won't need to do that. But you want to keep that out, and you also want to extend the event by 2 hours. So if you think you're going to go to 5, set the Zoom to 7 and give yourself a little flexibility in case people are behind schedule or something doesn't go right. You don't feel pressed up against it. You have a little wiggle room in it, which is ideally good. And then when you use something like Zoom to put on your virtual events, you want to look at using the webinar thing, especially for multi-speaker events and webinars and when you're doing workshops, because then you can have your speakers share their screens and it's more controlled. It's less work for you to do as an organizer. Where the Zoom meeting is more for like if you're having breakout sessions, you can assign people to breakout rooms, and that will work really well as well. So those are some of the things in the technology and as well in executing the virtual events. And then you want to have like an hour announcement before the event. Hey, in 1 hour is going to start the event. Hey, we're having this speaker speak now. They're going to be speaking until then. So you create the sense of urgency for people to get on and always see the next speaker, the next content that you have to offer them. And remember, you're offering great, good content, and that's important when you're really offering that type of content. And so those are just some of the things that you really need to learn on your virtual events and how to execute those virtual events at a high level. And it's a great way right now, especially with COVID, to get your message out to get even more time out there so you can expand your audience. You can do it relative because you don't have the meeting space cost. You don't have the AV cost. It's a great way to test out the event, especially if it's a new event and you want to work that out. It's better to work it on virtually than go to a hotel, do a live event to find out it didn't work as well. So virtually is a great way to test out your event. And also you determine what markets you should go into to have your live events as we get back, as we're winding down COVID and getting back more into normalcy. And so you want to look at the virtual events as a way of testing where you should have the live events by who attended and what markets. And so you can determine, hey, we had a lot of people in Texas, we had a lot of people in Massachusetts. We should do a live event here because we have an audience that really wants that. And then go into that market to do the live event. Like tomorrow, I'm going to be going into live events and how to execute your live events and stuff. Today, I was really focused more on the virtual events and what you need to do virtually. So you can not only be successful, get more audience, get more clients, and at the same time, deliver awesome value. Remember, the idea is you want people to come away with great content. Like here at the summit, we want people to come away with 1 or 2 or 3 things they can implement right into their business. And we connect them with great mentors like Brad Blazer, Paul Frake, myself, Darren Adams, and Nick Keefe, just to name a few of the great people we've had on this platform speaking and sharing great content. And that's all part what we do here at the High Performance Success Summit. But that's what you want to do for your own virtual events, so your own audience. So you're creating that content and value for them so they want to come back again and again and get more. And that's the key thing with that, is really delivering awesome content. Because you deliver awesome content, you're going to have a great event. And so I just want to open